Hello, everybody. Welcome to Red Wolf Roundtable. I'm Carson Campbell. Obviously, Jacob Cater's not here. He's the normal host. He's out of town, but we still have Caton Marsh. Caton, how are we doing today?
Doing great. First off, I want to say good luck to Mr. Jacob Cater as he's off calling some basketball games for a district tournament. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about. It's been a busy weekend. We went to Fayetteville for baseball, and then we had a series against Eastern Illinois University. We have a lot of basketball games. How on the hardwood specifically, we'll talk about the most, as that was a doubleheader, and home games for our basketball teams for the first time in a little bit. But other than that, I think we should get right into it.
All right, let's go into commercial. We'll be back after this.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
Welcome back, everybody, to Red Wolf Roundtable. I just want to introduce our guest today alongside Caton Marsh. He's our regular host. We have Christian Sandoval and Luke Dunlap in the back. Today we're going to be previewing a little bit of women's basketball. Guys, how do you think about women's basketball? You know, we've had a lot of games. Let's just talk about women's basketball.
And obviously, they've been playing very well as of recently, the past two games that I've seen. Now, this past Troy game was a little iffy, but
It was rough.
it was very rough. I like what I'm seeing out of them, though. At least like they know their mistakes. Coach has already said, owned up to it in a couple of press conferences that she's had. But
exactly, and that's why the A-State women's team is such a good team, is because they take every game as a learning experience. They took this loss and they immediately, instead of saying, okay, it's time for the next, they immediately pointed out exactly what needed to happen for the next. And that is a reason I think they are one of the top contenders for winning the Sun Belt this year.
Well, we'll briefly talk about Texas State, as that was the latest game that they played that we didn't get to talk about. They dominated Texas State like usual, shot really well. And Zion Shannon was our player of the game. She shot really well from three, had 22 points, I believe, this game. But the game that we really want to highlight is the Louisiana game. For obvious reasons we're about to talk about, they broke a record for three-pointers and a Sun Belt opponent. But the stats are they beat them 92-66. They out-rebounded them, which is a rare occurrence for our women's team. And then the biggest difference for this game was the second chance points. They dominated that, and it was pretty clear in the game. But the one thing that we really want to talk about is the three-point shooting. Mm-hmm. We had multiple players shoot really well from three, specifically Anaya Ruddick. We had DR Allen and Mia Tarver. They all Mia had 17, Anaya had 12, and I'm blanking.
Allen had 17 as well.
Allen had 17 as well. So I think overall this game was a great one to watch, but one of the things that I like to pick on them for improvement is the consistency. So early on in the game, we didn't score much. We were shooting and missing quite a bit, and that was the first and fourth quarter. We had a lot of inconsistencies of making shots, but that being said, the second and third quarter, they picked it up and shot amazing. But and if you guys have any points about this Louisiana game?
I mean, yes and no. It kind of transfers into the Troy game as well, though. But A-State women's, their definition is you live by the three, you die by the three.
Absolutely.
And in this game,
Absolutely.
they absolutely thrived. Shots were falling. Everything was going right for them. Their press defense was just killing the Raging Cajuns. And you really do. You live by the three, you die by the three. And as it came into the Troy game, it
And you're seeing it
unfortunately
now.
went to...
Yeah, absolutely.
There are our big three playmakers of the day. Outside, we also had Zion Shannon play really well. Chrislyn Rose obviously doing what she does. But these were the big three standouts. Mia Tarver has been exceptional this year, especially beyond the arc. Anaya Ruddick is not someone that we have mentioned quite a bit this season, and she came alive big time this game. And one specific player that I also want to talk about that I like to watch was Allison Ferguson. We haven't really seen her all year, I don't think. I think this might have been one of her first games, and she played phenomenal. The rebounding, the effort, truly just the pure dominance in the paint is, I feel like that's kind of what we've been missing.
Yes.
And
Yes, absolutely. It has been.
hopefully we can see her more. We didn't see her in the Troy game, but maybe even in the tournament coming up here soon. But let's pivot over to the Troy game. How on the hardwood. It was a very disappointing loss. Kind of what you talked about. The inconsistencies remained a thing, and we didn't really follow through like we did in the second, third quarter against Louisiana. Troy took advantage of that, ended up beating us. That being said, as long as we can remain consistent from shooting, we shot, I think, like 20% this game.
It was
It
rough.
was-
It was 4 for
bad.
21 from three, which they didn't shoot much better at either. They shot, I believe it was 5 for 18. But one thing that really stood out here was the fact that the press was broken so early. It was like almost first quarter, Troy had just came in and they broke the press immediately, and it was really hard to kind of make adjustments from there. So definitely they had the upper hand going forward, but towards the third quarter, A-State kind of had a rally going on.
Yeah.
They were starting to
That is
come
true.
back.
Press was working as well.
It
It started-
was.
Yeah.
And then the fourth quarter, Troy picked it back up. They had two girls go for double doubles. They absolutely terrorized the women's team on the boards, and that was our big issue this game, was getting the boards. It was those
Absolutely.
second chances
Yeah.
buckets.
Yeah, we held them to 9 points in the third quarter,
Yes.
but
They
we couldn't finish.
They out-rebounded us by 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm a firm believer with it. If you don't win the rebound game, you don't win that game at all. And they out-rebounded us.
By
We
30.
beat them in the steals. I believe, 30, 38 steals at that point. And, going back to what me and Luke were talking about before the show, if you get figured out before the game, and if you can have that coach, figure out on the spot, okay, this is what they're running, press is going to happen, you're not going to win that game. And if you can come back from that, I'm shocked. But seeing as how Troy was able to decipher what was going on, look at that defense, read that defense, and we're able to capitalize on many of our mistakes.
But honestly, I think this sets up for a really good Sun Belt tournament because
Absolutely.
the battle of Destiny Rogers and these other head coaches, they're absolutely, there's no doubt in my mind that Dez is going to be able to pick things back up and get the team right back and bounce back with another move on the chessboard.
Absolutely, and
see
you're
the
getting a
bracket
good
there.
look here at this bracket right here. A-State right now looking at the 4 seed, Marshall with the 3, Troy with the 2, and Georgia Southern at 1. Now, the game I'm going to be highlighting and looking at here is whoever is going to win these next couple of games on this bracket and face JMU. Now, remember, Arkansas State played JMU last year in the championship and won an OT. Do you think if JMU plays this team that they're going to play in the bracket, do you think they're going to be looking for revenge? Because granted, there are 2 teams in that tournament that are wanting, a bit of payback from A-State, and that's Troy and that's JMU.
It's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a fun postseason for A-State women's basketball. But I think we're gonna go to commercial here. We'll be back and talk about men's basketball. So stay with us. We'll be right back. for you.
There it is. There it is. Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get.
And welcome back. Men's basketball now, preview, 3-game win streak. Caden, what do you got?
So we went into Louisiana, and the man, the myth, the legend, early on season, our guy, Chandler Jackson, drops 30 on his birthday. Something special for him. Other than that, we didn't really shoot well from the three. I think we shot 3 for 14.
Yep.
But that didn't prove to matter because we ended up still shooting 50% from the field. So we took the win against Louisiana. But one of the bigger games that we want to talk about and highlight is putting triple digits on ULM. We had 7 players drop double digits. I'm going to bring out my notes for this. And while you're seeing the scores real quick, too, we beat ULM only by 8, and ULM is a bottom feeder in practically everything in the Sun Belt. But we shot around the same, better three-point percentage, but it is a little concerning. But I'll get into this. So the 7 players that scored 10, we had Harmon,
Okay.
Ollie,
Okay.
Heyman, Chandler, Chama, Caldwell, and Ellingsworth.
Some dogs.
Yeah.
So
That's your top 7, essentially, in the lineup.
absolutely, especially coming off the bench. As usual, played really well. I think it's kind of concerning when a bottom feeder like ULM is keeping toe-to-toe with you like this. The 3 got exposed like it has been all year. The interior presence getting exposed as well like it has been all year. Ollie played well in this game. I got to give him kudos for that.
Yes.
Hampton.
And we're still in that zone. That zone is a little questionable at times.
It needs to be tweaked.
It needs to be
does.
tweaked.
Slightly, yes.
Man,
Teams are
I much
figuring it
prefer
out.
man in this system, but obviously Coach sees something that he likes in the zone.
Yes.
And don't get me started on offense, running a 5 out, but we'll get into that.
Offense is not what I'm worried about.
I'm not
It's
worried
truly
about
the
it, but
defense.
It's the
It's
defensive
yeah.
end that's killing us.
We can't purely run zone defense.
Yes.
Like we have to mix it up. It can't just be
And-
one of the same.
it's a work in progress, but we've been saying that all season, so let's
We're at that point where it should be the chemistry.
it's conference
match.
championship
Yes.
in
I
a
mean,
couple weeks. So
in theory, the zone is to prioritize, I believe, getting Tunkara involved in not just the paint area, but also like the high post and a little bit on the short corners. And if you really look into that, on paper, it's good. It's just there's a lot of times that they're getting blown by and there's a wide open area in the paint for a layup.
Yeah, the execution has been not as well as we want it. So I go into it. Southern Miss, how on the hardwood. It was very
boy.
disappointing.
Man, okay. This game was the definition of bully ball. I don't think I've ever seen a college game like live get that scrappy. I mean, of course, we've seen worse. There have been fights, but like live for A-State specifically, that was a very chippy game. We had techs all over the place. Coaches were getting livid left and right. And what I really noticed about the game was Joey Chama came in determined to play Southern Miss's game because Southern Miss is one of the top teams in the nation when it comes to free throws attempted, which means they tend to draw quite a bit of fouls. Joey Chama came in and there was one point, I believe it was in the first half, 4 back-to-back Arkansas State possessions, he was at the free throw line. He got to the line, he had, I want to say it was like either 18 or 20 points just from the free throw line alone. He played their game, but not only did he play their game, he played it better.
He was all his points came from free throws, all 15.
Yeah, all 15. Yeah.
Yeah, he shot 18, so percentage was immaculate, but he flails around quite a bit.
Yeah, somebody said he reminds him of SGA.
I
in the
believe it was
NBA.
a
I think it was
certain
Caton.
Caton Marsh over
Chase
here.
Marsh over here.
And that's a
Mr.
great
SGA.
comparison
Yeah.
for Joey. I think, he's got that. He knows how to use his
got heart.
size and get those calls.
And he's also got the mid-range shot to boot. I mean, it's just the way Chalma plays, you can directly draw that comp to either him or Jalen Brunson, I'd say.
But I feel like one of the major talking points, and it's been a consistent factor pretty much all year, is the defense. That being our bigs. We haven't talked about Chudy in a long time. Reason being, he's in a boot. For how long, we don't know. But that means we were relying on Tunkara a lot, as well as Ellingsworth, to play that role that Chudy does. That being said, it hasn't been doing very well. Ollie kind of seems like a stone when he gets the ball on offense, and the opportunities he creates on defense, he doesn't capitalize. He had 2 major blocks at the end of game for Southern Miss, but it seems to be a reoccurring issue regardless, because he also got a random flagrant or technical foul that gave him 2 free throws at the end of the game. And I know,
Yeah.
Luke, you worked the production. Do you have any word on the reason being he got that technical foul or when it was? Because I'm pretty sure I heard from Mr. David Carey that it was 4 minutes before the free throws were shot.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I wasn't in the control room for that game. I was on underbasket cam, but I do believe it was from a play like way further back. It was like one of those pulls that's just like, really? Like, why are we going that far back? Like, not even a replay operator could go that far back in a clip. And so it's just, I never really understood that call. But either way, it was a very chippy game, and I really appreciate like how A-State powered through towards the end. Because towards the end of it, I believe it was at one point 87-83 with like
2 minutes, I think.
2 minutes.
less, a minute
Mr.
30.
Maybe
Jackson
less,
coming
yeah.
up clutch.
And then I forgot who hit a three, but we hit a three.
I think it was Harmon.
Harmon.
hit a
Yep.
three. That's what it was. Harmon hit a three. They come back, and I believe it was Heyman with a layup to take the lead, or was it Tunkara with the alley-oop dunk to take the lead? I think it was Tunkara.
There
was
was
a
an
lot that
alley-oop
happened.
that was very nice.
There's a lot
That
that
was one of the things that
Yeah.
shifted the momentum late in the game was that alley-oop by Tunkara, and it's just that team is so deep.
And what I'm going to bring up here is kind of what Caton was talking about. Paint presence with the bigs is a huge issue.
Non-existent.
Southern Miss got a majority of their points based off in the paint. And if we can't defend the three and we can't defend the paint, that is going to spell trouble once Sunbelt tourney time comes around.
As we said, the offense isn't the issue. They're scoring really well. It's the defense. But
Yes.
one point, and I don't want to stress it too much because it is a sensitive topic, because it always is in sports. But these refs, there's one play in particular that I want to point out. It was close to the end of the game. Guy tripped on himself.
Yep.
And got free throws.
Terrible call.
was
And they were
horrible.
reviewing everything, and the all-lead technical, those free throws. I don't know what it was, but they wanted Southern Miss, and Southern Miss was bullying us physically, and I think there should have been a lot of foul calls that weren't. And unfortunately, I wanted to talk about you guys, but before we end the segment, I know you guys, I know Luke, you had some X factors you wanted to talk about.
So going into the rest of the season and for the Sun Belt tournament for the men, I got some X factors on things that could very well so change how they play, or like the most important things they need. And it's getting Chandler Jackson where he needs to be at all times. Even when he's not scoring, he is our highest rated player in terms of like player rating, offensive and defensive combined. And he needs to get involved. He is a very much so pass-first point guard, and I like how in the past few games we have been using that to the best of its ability. I think a prime example was that Southern Miss game, because I think Chandler Jackson only had 2 points, but his plus-minus on that was off the charts. I believe it was like +9 or something, which is solid for a guy who's only scored 2. And the next one is get Matt Heyman and Ali Tunkara involved in not just their own game, but in the team system. Matt Heyman is one of our best ISO players, if not the best ISO player on the team.
Love Heyman.
But whenever he is on the floor, the offense does get limited to like one of three options.
One-dimensional.
Yes, very one-dimensional. And there's so much potential with Matt Heyman in the lineup. That threat of using him on like the wing, off of like you can have Chandler Jackson playing off ball with Tunkara's presence in the paint, and then getting Matt Heyman involved as like that number one threat. They need to be utilizing that and having some sort of off-ball presence for everyone else, and using Matt Heyman as almost kind of like a magnet.
Yep.
And then
hard to do that with when you're running 5 out.
Yes,
But,
exactly.
Gotta love a guy that loves Heyman.
And so, and then Ali Tunkara, in every game that he's played solid, like scoring like 6 or more and rebounding in like the double digits, A-State's win column tends to go up, you know. And so getting him involved in the paint, specifically going back to that 5-out thing, they need to maybe switch it to a 4-1,
4-1,
have him in the present.
3-2.
Whenever he is in the paint, so long as he has the ball and he doesn't put it on the ground, chances are we're going to score.
Yeah.
And so getting him involved is also huge. And I think also utilizing that depth. We are one of the deepest teams in the Sun Belt, having, I believe it's a 9-man rotation that we run. Most teams run like 7 or 8. And if we can use, like you said with the ULM game, 7 people scored in double digits. And that wasn't even our entire roster that we played. If we can utilize the fact that we are 12th in the nation in the NCAA for points scored from our bench, if we can utilize that, we might be able to make a deeper run than people think.
And I just have to say this for Jacob Cater, Royal Blue. I mean, what are we doing?
That's true.
I know it's too late. I know.
Too deep.
It's too deep. It's too late. Royal Blue's a freshman, and he's great at basketball.
Hey, one person I want to bring up before we go, the dog of the week, Jalen Hampton. The reason we won against Southern Miss. We didn't put up his graphic, but here it is now. You see a lot of team leading. He shot really well. He led the team in points.
He's peaking.
He led the team in offensive boards and defensive boards. So he tied the team in defensive boards.
Absolutely.
But when you have a guy like Jalen Hampton that can get up and get the board, get those second chance points, we haven't talked about Hampton. This guy is a dog.
He is a dog.
An absolute dog.
Very underrated,
Absolute.
and he's peaking at the right time, I think. He might be the X factor himself.
I think so too.
Going
honestly.
into the tournament.
And I feel like I have disrespected the man by not putting him on my list because I have forgotten. I feel like that's what the rest of the Sun Belt has done. They're forgetting about Jalen Hampton.
Yep.
That's another option that we have.
Yep. And I think a lot of the attention is on Harmon right now.
Absolutely.
Fair, which is fair. But Hampton,
We have a lot of nasty guys.
we have a lot of nasty guys.
For real.
And it's going to be a fun tournament. Hopefully we make a run. But before we make a run, we're in baseball season, boys. We had a big week in baseball. Some of you may know.
We got a special guest coming on.
Special guest as well. And we'll be right back after this break.
See you soon.
See you, bro.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
And we're back. Baseball season is here. We had a big game.
We had a big week.
Before we get into the in-state matchup that we had in a place called Fayetteville, Arkansas, let's introduce Julia, Miss Julia. She's the student creative director. Is that the right title?
Yes.
Okay. And Julia works for the baseball team. She's close with the baseball team. Julia, let's hear it.
Okay, so we had a great weekend. We went 2-1. We first started off against Eastern Illinois, and it was 3-2. And this started off as what would later become our second of 3 games that we lost by 1. And everybody's like, oh, dang, we lost by 1. And then I'm like, that makes it a really good game. If you're winning by 1 run, what's really there to complain about? The first game, we straight up just got outmanned. Like, they just performed better than I did, better than we did, whether it was the pitching or the batting. They just played better. Then we came back in the second game against Eastern Illinois, and we hit 4 home runs, 2 coming from the Patrick Ingskoff. We did really good, did phenomenal. I think we really reset from our first game, and we learned what we needed to work on, whether that was our pitching or our hitting or our infielding. We really reevaluated, and then we came back and we took it. And then we also took it again in the third game, winning 9-2, ending the game early. I think they did phenomenal. Like I said, they learned what worked, what didn't. We kept the same pitching rotation as we did the prior weekend where we swept Stony Brook. I like to say if it's not broke, don't fix it. They both did good, both of the rotations. And then, yeah, we had a really good weekend and then traveled to the other corner of the state.
Beautiful weekend from
Beautiful,
BYU. Let's just
Beautiful.
that first game, it was a little rough, like you said. They just played better than us. And I'm kind of just overviewing what you said, but man, as I said last week, bats are flying.
Yep.
I love watching this team. Patrick Ingskove, Lane Walton, Aiden Houseworth,
Evan
Quiller, Griffiths.
Everybody.
The list goes on. We didn't get to talk about this team like we did last year. This team is unreal. We gotta get more people out there for that reason.
This is probably the best baseball team I've seen in my 4 years here at this
Speaking of
university.
that, Friday,
Yeah,
there's a game.
There is
So-
a game on Friday.
3
Fans,
o'clock, UAPB.
Show up.
show up. But 3-2, we bounce back and you beat them 11-3.
Yeah.
And you follow it up again with 9-2. I mean, you already talked about Patrick. One of the guys I really want to talk about, Dylan Farley. That man pitched 6 innings and only allowed 2 runs.
Yeah.
Beautiful pitching by
Beautiful.
Mr. Farley.
Beautiful.
I loved every second of it. That man was ecstatic. Great game by him. There was a lot of players that we can talk about. It was
Yep.
truly just an amazing series. But let's go on to the pigs.
The
Burn
pigs.
Pigs.
Ooh.
I'll let you talk about it first because you were there.
I did get to go there.
She made an appearance.
What a transition, by the way. The pigs. It's like a sneak diss, I feel like. Hey.
Aren't you guys at baseball school?
Ooh.
They were not this week. And fans did say that midweek games don't count. But I think our first game does count.
Cook.
Because here's the thing. We did not hit a home run against the University of Arkansas since 1947. We played them in 1947, and we hit 1 home run, and we lost. Flash forward, 2026. We played them, and we hit 5. 4 home
Bars.
runs and a grand slam from Ashton Quiller. I mean, what is there to say?
We had double trouble that game. We're popping up a graphic here in just a second. A reason I call him double trouble. Mr. Cross Jumper went 3 for 5, 2 homers, and a single. Guy on the right, Cooper Garrison. What a bounce back game, especially against a ranked SEC opponent known for baseball. This guy threw 4 innings and gave up 3 hits.
Beautiful.
This guy was, 2 hits, and he got a save.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
The bounce back he was electric in that 12-4 win. Pure dominance by this Arkansas State team. Not enough to say because there isn't enough to say. Truly, back and forth was beautiful.
Beautiful.
It was truly a good game to watch, and we'll put it in at the end. I ended up making a video of all of the home runs that we did. The environment was ecstatic, in the dugout at least. The fans were not happy that we were there. But it was a great game. Turned around, and next game was 1-0. what can you say? They really threw everything under the sun at us. They did really good. Their pitching, you can't not say
It's a
great
pitching
things about
battle
them.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think for them it was a pitching battle, and for us it was a defense battle. Because although they were throwing stuff that we couldn't hit, they were hitting and we were making plays that they couldn't get on base for.
Yeah.
So
Saw a lot of Patty in the field.
yes,
That's been a common theme this year.
Three double plays from Patty. Did a static. Again, this is the second SEC team that we lost to by 1.
Ole Miss.
So,
Ryan Ashford had a good game too.
It's a fun season so far. It's a completely new team. Fun to watch. Like Caden said, the bats are flying.
Bats
pitching
are
looks
flying.
pitching looks vastly improved.
Show up, please.
Yep.
Show up,
3 o'clock
show
tomorrow.
out. And it's going to be a great season. We're going to take one more break, and then we'll be back here to just wrap up everything, review everything that we've had in the sports world here at Arkansas State University. We'll be back right after this break.
Well, I've got news for you. There it is. There it is.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get.
Welcome back. Final break, 1 minute. Go, Caden.
Well, we kind of talked about everything that we needed to talk about, and we're in the preview season. We're at the end of basketball season for regular season, and we got Louisiana and Texas State this weekend for both women's and men's basketball. Actually, tomorrow, a doubleheader. Both bottom feeder teams, as like I said, with ULM, and it should be no surprise that we win tomorrow. I don't think I really need to spend much time on them. I am a little concerned about men's defense. Hopefully they reciprocate at a high level, but we'll see how that goes. Baseball, we got UAPB this weekend. They have not been so great this year, and when you have a team like Arkansas State that's been playing amazing, hopefully we win the series, maybe even sweep it. Other than that, I think that's going to about do it for us.
Yep. And we will be back next week. Jacob Cade will be in this chair, hopefully, if he's not around doing random events. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time.